There's a sentence that pops into your head every single time you mess something up, and it's not even yours. There's a name for this in psychology, and most people go their whole lives without ever realizing that thought wasn't even born inside them. By the end of this video, you're going to be able to spot exactly whose voice that is and why it was never really yours to begin with. Picture this. You send a message to the work group chat. Nobody responds right away. A minute goes by, then 5. And in that silence, something inside you has already made up its mind about what's happening. I said something stupid. Now everyone thinks I have no idea what I'm doing. You didn't have a shred of proof, just silence. And silence on its own doesn't mean a thing, but your mind rushed in to fill that blank with a verdict. The worst part? You didn't even notice you'd made a decision. It just felt like the truth showing up. This happens when you turn in a piece of work. It happens when someone goes quiet after one of your jokes. It happens when you catch your reflection in the mirror, and the first thought isn't about your face, it's about what's wrong with it. So here's the question almost nobody stops to ask. That voice that comments on your every move, where did it come from? Because it has a tone, a specific way of talking. It uses certain words and never others. Somebody taught it to talk that way, and it wasn't you. In developmental psychology, there's a process called introjection. Here's how it works. As a kid, your brain hasn't built a strong enough self yet to filter what gets in. So everything the most important adults in your life said about you, out loud or just in the way they looked at you, got absorbed, unedited, straight into your operating system. If the message was, "You're amazing, just relax," that becomes an inner voice that soothes you. But if the message was, "Pay attention, you always mess up, don't count on anyone, standing out is dangerous," those lines got in too, and they stayed. Except over time, they lose the tag of who said them. They stop sounding like, "This is what my mom believed," and start sounding like, "This is what I believe." And that's exactly where things get dangerous. Because you can disagree with someone else's opinion, but a thought that feels like your own, you don't question that, you just obey it. For anyone who grew up getting corrected more often than praised, that inner voice turns into a kind of permanent inspector. It never sleeps. It audits every decision before you've even finished thinking it through. And here's the strange thing about this voice you've probably noticed before, but never quite put your finger on.
First, why does it always use almost the exact same words someone from your childhood used? If you really pay attention, you'll notice that the "you never pay attention" your mind repeats today is nearly word for word something someone said to you decades ago. That's not a coincidence. It's a copy-paste. Introjection doesn't write new material. It replays the original recording, just without the quotation marks, without the name attached. Second strange thing, why does that voice get louder right when things are going well? You land a good result, get a compliment, feel a flicker of pride for 2 seconds, and then out of nowhere, "Don't get used to it, this won't last," or "Plenty of people deserve this more than you." That seems backwards, but there's a brutal logic underneath it. If standing out in your past brought jealousy, pressure, or distance from someone important, your system learned that being seen is risky. So that voice shows up right at the moment of success, not out of cruelty, but because in its old script, staying small was always the safer move. If this is hitting home for you, hit like and subscribe to the channel, because next video I'm breaking down exactly how these inner voices shape who we end up falling for, and it's going to surprise you even more. Now, let me show you where this actually leads, because this is where most people get stuck. You grow up, you move out, you build a life full of choices that are genuinely yours, but the inspector never resigned. It just changed offices. Now it lives inside the imaginary boss in your head, inside the comment you assume people are making about you, inside the impossible bar you use to measure your own worth. And the cruelest part is, you defend that voice. You believe that without it, you'd turn into someone lazy, arrogant, careless, as if the only way to stay on track is to keep being hunted by yourself. But notice something simple here. Nobody actually grows by being constantly humiliated from the inside. Growth needs at least a baseline of safety. A plant doesn't grow faster because you yell at it. Neither do you. Here's the real difference between discipline and self-punishment. Discipline corrects you and leaves you standing. Self-punishment corrects you and leaves you small. One builds something, the other just reruns an old script, convinced it's protecting you from a danger that doesn't even exist anymore. And this is the part that changes everything. You don't need to kick that voice out or pretend it isn't there. You need to do something far simpler and far harder at the same time. Ask it, is this thought actually mine, or is it someone else's that I've been carrying around? Just asking that question, honestly, creates distance, and in that distance lives the first real choice you've ever had. Keep repeating the line, or decide, right now, using your own grown-up standards, whether it still earns a place in your head. Most people never ask that question because they never knew they were allowed to. Their whole lives they assumed that voice was just their own character. It wasn't. It was an echo. And by definition, an echo is just the sound of a voice that already left the room. So next time that thought shows up, you're not enough. You're going to let everyone down. Don't even bother trying. Pause for 1 second before you obey it and quietly ask, is this mine or is it inherited? Because maybe the sentence that's hurt you your whole life was never really about you. Maybe it just forgot to leave your head.